Golf legends don't scare easily. These are men who've competed on the biggest stages in sports, who've hit shots under pressure that most humans can't even imagine, who've built careers around mental toughness and ice-cold composure. But ask any of them about facing Tiger Woods in his prime, and something shifts. The voice changes, the eyes go somewhere else, and what comes out isn't just respect or admiration, it's something closer to genuine fear. What did Tiger actually do to these men psychologically? Why do legends like Jack Nicklaus, Phil Mickelson, and Ernie Els still struggle to fully explain the experience? And how did one golfer make the entire field feel defeated before a single shot was even hit? Let's start with the number that explains everything. Between 1999 and 2002, Tiger Woods entered 40 tournaments and won 18 of them. Nearly half. In a sport where winning 20% of your events over a career makes you an all-time great, Tiger was winning 45% during a 3-year stretch that defied every statistical model ever built around professional golf. But the raw numbers don't capture what it actually felt like to be on the same course as him. The numbers tell you Tiger was dominant. The legends tell you Tiger was something else entirely. Something that kept them awake at night before Sunday rounds and haunted them for years after their careers ended. Ernie Els, a 2-time US Open champion and one of the most gifted ball strikers of his generation, described playing alongside Tiger during peak dominance as psychologically devastating in ways he'd never experienced against any other competitor. Els said that when you're paired with Tiger on Sunday, you don't just play the golf course, you play Tiger, the crowd, the history, and your own fear simultaneously. He described watching Tiger drain a long birdie putt and feeling something physically change in his own body, a tightening in the chest, a heaviness in the legs that had nothing to do with fitness and everything to do with watching someone operate on a level that made you question everything you thought you knew about the game. Els won 2 majors and spent years inside the top 5 in the world. He was genuinely elite. And yet he described facing Tiger as feeling fundamentally outmatched in ways that had nothing to do with technique or talent. It was psychological, it was emotional, and it was absolutely devastating to experience from inside the ropes. But here's what made Tiger truly terrifying beyond just the skills and the statistics. It was the psychological warfare he conducted without saying a single word. Phil Mickelson, who faced Tiger more times than almost anyone, and who had his own incredible career with 6 major championships, described the experience of walking alongside Tiger on Sunday afternoon as a masterclass in silent domination. Tiger would make a birdie, look at the leaderboard, and then walk to the next tee with an expression that said, "I'm not done," and everyone within 50 yards could feel it like a physical force pressing down on them. Mickelson revealed that Tiger had a specific ability to make everyone around him feel like the tournament was already over, even when the math clearly said it wasn't. Phil described a moment during the 2000 season where he was only 2 shots behind Tiger heading into the back 9, completely within striking distance, and yet somehow felt like he was 10 behind. The gap wasn't on the scorecard, it was in his head, and Tiger had put it there without speaking a single word or making a single gesture designed to intimidate. Just by being Tiger Woods, he made Phil Mickelson feel beaten before the game was decided. If you're getting chills from these stories, smash that like button and subscribe, because golf legends have barely scratched the surface of how terrifying Tiger really was. Jack Nicklaus, the man whose major championship record Tiger spent his entire career chasing, offered perhaps the most chilling assessment of all. Nicklaus, who dominated his own era so completely that he understood what true excellence felt like from the inside, said that Tiger at his peak did something no other golfer in history had ever done. He made winning feel inevitable, not probable, not likely, inevitable. Nicklaus explained that every other great player, including himself, had weeks where they were beatable, where opponents could sense vulnerability and smell an opening. Tiger eliminated those openings completely during his dominant years. When Tiger was leading after 54 holes, the tournament felt decided. Not probably decided, actually decided, and everyone in the field knew it and felt it pressing down on their shoulders. Nicklaus went further, saying something that stopped every interviewer who heard it cold. He said that he never felt fear playing golf against anyone in his own career. Not Arnie Palmer, not Gary Player, not Lee Trevino, not Tom Watson. He competed against all of them with full confidence and genuine belief that he could win. But watching Tiger operate at his peak made even Nicklaus wonder privately whether, if he were 30 years younger and in his own prime, he would have found a way to compete. That admission from the greatest major champion in history tells you everything about how terrifying Tiger actually was. The crowds made it exponentially worse for everyone trying to beat former world number one David Duval, who was arguably the second best player in the world during the late 1990s and actually held the number one ranking briefly before Tiger reclaimed it, described the roar of Tiger's galleries as a weapon, not just background noise, but an active psychological force that drained energy from everyone else in the field and poured it directly into Tiger. Duval said you'd make a great birdie and hear polite applause, then Tiger would make the same putt from the same distance, and the entire course would shake with noise that made your great shot feel completely irrelevant and forgotten instantly. Duval's career faded dramatically during Tiger's peak years, and while multiple factors contributed, he's been remarkably honest about how mentally difficult it was to compete against someone so relentlessly dominant. When you're playing your absolute best golf and still losing regularly to one player, it forces you to question whether your best is actually good enough. That kind of sustained doubt is career-destroying, and Tiger planted those seeds in almost every competitor he faced regularly. Not through trash talk or mind games, just through winning, over and over and over again until the winning itself became the most suffocating psychological weapon imaginable. Colin Montgomerie, who won 8 European Tour Order of Merit titles and was one of the most dominant players of his era on that side of the Atlantic, described an encounter with Tiger at the 2000 US Open at Pebble Beach that he said changed how he understood competitive golf forever. Tiger won that tournament by 15 shots. 15. Montgomerie finished second and described it not as a loss, but as a witnessing, like watching something completely outside the normal boundaries of human athletic performance. He said standing on the 18th green after that tournament, he didn't feel like he'd lost a golf tournament. He felt like he'd been present for something historic and slightly incomprehensible that he'd spend years trying to process and explain to people who weren't there. Lee Trevino, one of the greatest ball strikers and mental competitors in golf history, watched Tiger's dominance unfold and offered an assessment that stopped everyone cold. Trevino said Tiger wasn't just beating people physically, he was breaking them spiritually. The best golfers in the world would show up on Sunday genuinely believing they could win, and by the 12th hole, they weren't competing for the title anymore. They were competing to see how close they could finish to someone who'd already decided the outcome 3 days earlier. Greg Norman, who spent 331 weeks as the world's number one and understood elite dominance from the inside, said that Tiger possessed something he'd never seen in any other competitor. The ability to raise his performance exactly when raising it mattered most. Every other great player, including Norman himself, had limits to how much they could elevate under pressure. Tiger seemed to have no ceiling. The bigger the moment, the better he got. And that quality, that supernatural ability to peak precisely when everyone else was cracking under pressure, was what made him not just the best player in the world, but something genuinely terrifying to compete against. What these legends describe collectively paints a picture that goes beyond athletic dominance into something almost impossible to fully articulate. Tiger Woods didn't just play better golf than everyone else. He made everyone else play worse golf simply by being present on the same course. The fear was real. The psychological damage was measurable in careers that faded and confidence that never fully recovered. And the legends who faced him at his absolute peak are still processing what they witnessed decades later. The terrifying truth that every golf legend eventually admits when the moment feels honest enough is this: they never actually figured out how to beat Tiger Woods when he was locked in. They just hoped he'd beat himself, and most of the time, he never did. That's not just dominance. That's terror wearing a red shirt and a black hat on Sunday afternoon, and nobody who stood across from it will ever fully recover from the experience.